All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday afternoon. Hope everybody out there having a great start to their day, to their week. I'm excited. Little 9-game DraftKings and FanDuel slate starting at 7:10 Eastern. Looking at weather, which is always the first thing I look at. Kevin Roth on Roto Grinders. We do have one orange-yellow. And when I see orange before yellow, that is most definitely a real concern for me. That is the Brewers and the Braves. Brewers, a little interesting. Solid run total. Been playing good baseball. Pretty cheap, so it's not like a full cross-off game where even if it goes, I just think you can completely ignore it. So one game to worry about for weather. Also got Coors Field on the slate. Toronto coming into Coors, a massive, massive run total for them. And looking at pitching, let's sort by ownership. Soroka, Glasnow, or Kikuchi, 2 of the 3 with Coors Field. I think that's kind of the chalk on this 9-game slate. But again, ownership will be spread out to an extent. Plenty of ways to go. Excited to talk with my man Nades to point us in the right direction. How we doing, Nades?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Fun Monday slate. The Monday slate's kind of been all over the year, or all over the place this year. 6 games, 4 games, 12 games, 13 games. Got a nice little 9-game, right, kind of in that sweet spot. Definitely like it a lot. Weather shouldn't be too much of a concern. I'm not too interested in pitchers in that game. I know we're going to talk about Quinn Priester a little bit there. I don't like he's priced up a little bit more than my liking. So if you're playing bats, obviously monitor a little bit, but I'm more willing to play bats in a weather game than vice versa. And then, Coors Field, I mean, one of the biggest totals we've seen all season, one of the best hitting teams in all of baseball coming in here. Should be a pretty fun one. Anytime you see a total sitting at 12, definitely going to have to talk about it.
Absolutely. Contest massive on DraftKings. The $5 knuckleball, 47,000 people, 50K up to first. If you want to try that, you can only throw like 5 entries, $25 for a chance at 50K is always fun. The $111 is out there as well. Prizes are good like always, and I think they're going to stay pretty good for the next couple of weeks before the real sports in town, NFL. Hey, even when NFL is in town, though, we'll still be grinding MLB. We'll have MLB shows on non-NFL days. We'll have, of course, the slate plan, core reports, etc. So the stone, just because another sport comes doesn't mean we ditch that other sport, but we're not going to lie. I think we're all pretty excited for NFL season to be here. Let's say hi to people in chat before we break down this slate. Our man, Sean Sullivan, what's going on? He's first. Rodney, Little Neck, Woody, Kidlinen, Richard, Jason Turner, Richie Smalls. Thanks, Richie. I hope everyone smashes that like. Give me a little help right there. My lanes also was Keith back in the day, I believe. Good to see you. Ward, Robert, Nate D, Higo, MN Holla, Gangrene, what is up? Lone Wolf, Jake, Jared, Badlands, YSN, a lot of familiar faces. Good to see all y'all. What's going on, Takedown? Hope you're doing well. Let's see what this question says. You guys ever find yourselves adjusting the sim diversity and correlation sliders? I know SaberSim has them set to what they think is best, but I found success adjusting them slightly. I mean, yeah, it's all. I personally don't because of, like you said, with the back testing SaberSim did to do it. But if you're finding success with it, and like I bet you very few are probably going in and messing with that. So you're a product that a lot of people are using, and they do a great job anyway. Hundreds of thousands of simulations. Like it's not giving the same sort of stuff to everyone, but just making little changes like that can get you different from what most people are doing. I don't find that crazy at all. I personally don't, though. Nades, any thoughts on what he's saying? If you do anything about that?
The only time I really mess with it a lot is more so on smaller slates, right, where I might drop the correlation down a little bit to allow batters versus pitchers or things like that, where correlation isn't kind of the Bible. Anytime you're getting 6, 7, 8, 9 games, I don't mess with it a ton. They are much smarter in terms of analytics behind the scenes and have back tested millions of lineups, millions of players, millions of slider data to build competitive teams. So more so, I would say adjust it more if you're doing less player cut down or pool cut down or projection adjustment yourself by your own projections. Obviously, the tool is only as good as what you put into it. So if you're tweaking projections, cutting down your pool, if you're just going in there and kind of blindly running it, right, and trusting what kind of the optimizer does for you, I'd be more willing to kind of adjust with some of the sliders just because it'll give you a little bit more variance to other players that are doing similar to what you're doing. That's what I would say. But typically I don't mess with it too much.
Good stuff right there. Yeah. But again, if you're finding success, like absolutely keep doing it. It makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Brewers bet printing. I bet the Brewers yesterday too. I mean, I'm back in Wisconsin. As most of you can see, I was a little sad because I was just going to bet the Brewers every single day moving forward till they showed me something otherwise. I mean, this team is pesky. They run, they're hitting, they put pressure. It's a pretty good baseball team right there. Good stuff, Jake. Top 50 in NASCAR. You absolutely love to see that as well. I don't think I got too many more housekeeping things. We got the announcements is fine. If you guys are in the Discord, I know you guys have been seeing it. Tambo is absolutely on one right now. I'm not going to spoil anything because on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, there will be a launch show explaining all this. If you're not a member, there really is no better time to join right now. $349 for NFL only, but it's not just NFL. You get college football as well. So you get both football sports. You get SaberSim included, the best optimizer around. Not all other sites are including an optimizer. Not all of them are including the best optimizer. Shout out to SaberSim. Has helped us out a ton. Again, August 6th, check in the announcement section in Discord. Tambo has definitely hinted and dropped a couple things since we had 150 emojis. So go on the lookout for that if you want a little closer look at what we might be doing on Wednesday, August 6th. But it's something that can help you make some cheese in your pocket. You see $349 for NFL package. Going to be a couple people out there that free rolled that and actually made money on that package. You also get a DFS mastermind course, over 500 free savings and early bird bonuses when you sign up. And whenever you do sign up, whether it's today, whether it's next Monday, whenever it is, you also get all access. You get MLB, MMA, PGA, NASCAR, any sport going on until NFL season, you will get all access for that. You can mess around with SaberSim and get better and more comfortable there. So we'd love to have you. Discord's also included. We have weekly, we have monthly packages as well, but NFL on the horizon, college football on the horizon, by far the best deal out there. And you'll see that when you start comparing. I mean, we put up the graphic with a couple competitors. When you keep searching around, if you want to look at others, we do not think you will find even close to a better deal than we are offering right there. Pay less for content, more in your contest. Absolutely very excited for NFL season. Anyone else I miss? At Badlands, I think I said hi, but I don't want to miss anyone. No stop. Great to see you. Yeah, he loves the tease. There's no doubt about that. My lanes. Yeah, I said hi to everybody, Nate. It's time to talk some baseball again. 9 games, the Brewers and Atlanta. We're going to talk like it plays, but it's the only weather game on the slate. We're going to start pitching 8K and above. Adrian Hauser all the way up to Max Fried. I want to just say K props. They're not great on this slate. The highest on the slate is Tyler Glasnow, 6.5 minus 115 on the over. The other ones that are 5.5 with juice on the over or better, Kikuchi 5.5 minus 130 on the over. Soroka 5.5 minus 120 on the over. And then the only one after that, we have Minaya 5.5 minus 110 on the over, 120 on the under. But then it's all the way down to Sonny Gray, 5.5 minus 110 on the over, 115 on the under. So pretty much 3 pitchers have higher juice on the over than the under at 5.5. And that is Glasnow, that is Soroka, and that is Kikuchi. When we sorted by ownership, Soroka, Glasnow, Kikuchi. And looking at the pricing, why I said from the top, I think it'll be 2 of these 3 that are the chalk. Well, we have Glasnow for $400 cheaper, for projected a full point higher than Max Fried. And then we have Kikuchi, 7.9 that doesn't break the bank, allows you to spend up at bats. And you have Soroka if you want to get even cheaper at 7K and want to spend for bats. So it's really easy to go 1 up top, 1 down low. Even Kikuchi, Soroka projects really well. You can get all the bats. Long story short, I'm not worried about salary. If you like Max Fried, I think it's really easy to play Max Fried. I think salary is pretty weak or soft on this slate. 8K and above, take it away. What are you doing at pitcher?
Yeah, 8K and above. I'll start with the kind of 3 chalk guys, Glass Now, or 2 above 8K, the Glass Now, and actually the other 2 are below 8K. So I'll start with Glass Now, I guess. Glass Now, I think, is definitely a good play. I'm a little worried about his duration now leading up to kind of the back half of the year here. Not only that, the Cardinals just don't strike out a ton. There is kind of 2 high strikeout bats in there, but realistically, the rest of the team sitting below league average, right around 22%. Glasnow's fine, but for me, with the ownership he's getting, I think he's fine, but I'd rather play Max Fried for a discount. You look at Texas over the last 30 days, over the last month against left-handed pitching, over 30%, 31% strikeout rate. I know Max Fried doesn't strike out a lot of righties in general, but it's still Max Fried. His duration should be longer than what Glasnow can go. And it's really easy to find $400 and save probably half the ownership off of Glasnow. So for me, I like Max Fried compared to Glasnow. They're definitely playable. The other guy I really like up here is Sean Manaea. I just don't think anybody is going to click Sean Manaea's name. Ownership, I mean, right around 15% compared to the other guys that are going to be chalk in his range. Fried's going to be higher. Glasnow's going to be higher. The guys below 8K are obviously going to be higher. And I think Manaea, I mean, people are sleeping on him. It's weird to look at 9,500 Sean Manaea and click that button. However, the Indians, Guardians, whatever you want to call them, are just abysmal against left-handed pitching. Manaea should have good run support behind him. I think he's a really, really good play. Some slight juice on the over of 5.5K prop, which is right in line with with Glasnow up there at a fraction of the ownership. So in tournaments, my 2 favorite guys up here are Manaea and Max Fried. Glasnow definitely playable. He's fine. I like Coors Field a lot, like everybody else is. I need to find somewhere to be slightly different, and I think going Manaea and Max Fried is going to help me get a little bit different than some of the rest. The other guy I'll mention up here, I think Lodolo. He's pitching really good right now. It is the Cubs, I understand that, but one of the lowest totals on the game, win game blown in at Wrigley there, and it's hard to argue what Lodolo has been doing in terms of strikeouts, even if he gives up a home run or 2 to guys like PCA, Suzuki, Tucker, whoever does. I mean, he does have the strikeout ability to make up that. Cubs don't strike out a lot against left-handed pitching, but a lot of the recent matchups for Lodolo, they didn't strike out either. He's got a 34% K rate over the last month against left-handed hitters, 30% to righties, keeps the ball on the ground against lefties, which is where you're really going to get tagged up against the Cubs. And he just doesn't allow a ton of power. So he's going to throw strikes. He's going to keep the ball on the ground for the most part. He has strikeout upside, and nobody's going to click the button. So I like him in tournaments. I'm out pretty much on the rest of these guys. I will make a slight case for Adrian Hauser just because he has been good, and it's on the other side of Chalk Kikuchi in the exact same spot for $200 more. That's a tournament pivot there, but I already like Lodolo, Manaea, and Fried as tournament pivots that I don't think you need to go too crazy. Hauser doesn't have a ton of very long leads. He's going to go 85 to 90 pitches. Doesn't really have a lot of strikeout upside there in that ballpark, but I will say the Angels do lead the league in strikeouts against right-handed pitching over the last month. So there is added bonus there. If he can pick up some strikeouts, I think he can easily pay off that price point at sub 5% ownership. So a couple tournament pivots. Obviously, Glasnow is a good play, but I'm looking elsewhere personally myself off of Glasnow with some of these other guys to get a little bit different.
I like it. I prefer in tournaments Fried and Manaea, like you said as well. And that's because I know I'm going to be eating some chalk bats. I put it here. I misspoke earlier. So Fried also has a 6.5K prop. Pretty heavy juice on the under, but I said 5.5 and over. So Fried, second best K prop on the slate behind Glasnow. And just looking at it, like Texas, one of the lowest implied totals on the slate at 3.7. The same as the Cardinals. And then we're looking at the Guardians over here against Manaea at 3.8. Mets should have run support. Manaea's pitching at home, 5.5. Very solid K prop, pretty much even on both sides. Like, that's a very easy pivot at 1/3 of the ownership, if that's what it's looking to be right now or something like that, when I can play a lot of chalkier bats. I mean, the K prop difference is only 1, and the run or like the implied runs for the opposite team is the exact same, and the Dodgers and the Mets are implied for the same. So I'm pretty much seeing 1/3 of an ownership gap with, maybe a little less upside. But as you mentioned, you're a little concerned with Glasnow. Like, his pitch count, 91, Saberson has it. Do you think that's accurate? Do you think that's a little too high? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's accurate. I'm just a little worried. I mean, Glasnow is a guy that the Dodgers have at least been allowing to go a little longer. Yamamoto threw some pitches there, but I just know how the Dodgers, I know how Dave Roberts manages guys leading into the back half. The Dodgers play for one goal when they're paying, I mean, millions of dollars in luxury tax every year for breaking the salary cap. They're playing for the postseason. They're playing for a World Series, right? They have one job. I mean, are they really going to run these guys in the ground when they already have a ton of injuries in a pitching staff? I don't think so. So I'm slight concerned leading up to the back half of the season now with guys like Glasnow, who historically they don't let him go super long. He's also coming off of injuries, right? He has an injury past, so that's kind of the reason there. And not only that, I mean, just the ownership alone. I'm going to be playing Coors Field. I'm not gonna fade Coors Field on this game with this weather. So I need to get slightly different. And with all of those things, that's kind of the reason there. But I mean, obviously Glasnow, highest K prop on the slate, highest projected pitcher. There's a reason he's getting played. I'm just looking slightly elsewhere.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So let's move it down a little bit. Like I would still keep Glasnow in the pool. It's free Glasnow, Manaea for sure. I'm indifferent to Lodolo in the sense of he would probably be in my pool because his upside is crazy. Very big strikeout arm. I just don't like picking on the Cubs by any means. He has a real price tag where, again, prices don't matter that much, but if it's not hard for me to get 1,500 to Max Fried, which I really don't think it will be, like it's an easy downgrade at one bat, I prefer him. I do prefer Glasnow. I prefer Manaea. I prefer the easier matchups against a really good Cubs team, and I think Manaea and Lodolo will be similarly owned, which is how we have it here. Again, Lodolo would be fine in the pool. He is a distant fourth for me. Hauser's interesting because we're going to take it down below 8K. Kikuchi. Someone said it. Let me pull it up. I think it was our man. Yeah, Jake. Chalk Kikuchi is never a good idea. You guys probably know the drill by now. If Kikuchi's on the slate, I play him most of the time because he's usually cheap. He'll have his 20-plus point upside stuff like he always does. And then I usually stack against him because he can get wild. It's been better for him of this year than recently, but he can still get hit hard. He can still let up power. You get direct leverage because he usually is pretty chalky because of his price. So none of that changes for me today. Like I think the Rays are interesting. I think Kikuchi's interesting. But Hauser's 200 more as a pivot. Bellows 100 less. And then Corbin's 300 less. And then they're also in between Soroka, Kikuchi, Isbello, pretty much Hauser and Corbin. Like this is, I don't love Fott. I don't like Fott. I don't like Eric Lauer and Coors. I don't like JPC. I like Arizona. Like I don't want to play JP Sears against Arizona. I don't like Fulcher. I don't like Fetty. I'll let you come back if you have any interest there. But that's why this is like how my pitching pool is. If I'm playing chalkier bats, I'm more likely to go a free Manaea Lodolo pivot off of Glasnow or a Hauser Bello Corbin pivot off of these two and just play one of Glasnow, Kikuchi, Soroka, and then mix one of the lower owned stuff. Whereas if I'm playing, let's just say a Yankee stack, who I really don't think is going to get ownership, then I can play Kikuchi, Soroka, or a Glasnow, Soroka, whatever it may be. Like, I want my pitching pool more narrow today. This is what I'm looking. We're looking at like 9 guys on a 9-game slate, but some are chalk, and when you play them, you should play it differently, or your bats differently, and your stacks differently than if you're playing the low-owned pitchers. So I'll let you talk 8K and below. Specifically the Kikuchis, the Sorokas of the world, and then is there anyone I crossed off that you would play?
Yeah, so no, I'm not playing any of those other guys down below that you did cross off. I just don't think there's the need there. I'll start with Kikuchi. The thing I'll say about Kikuchi is this dude's going to throw pitches, even if he gives up a home run or 2 or 3, 3 earned runs. I mean, I can see a stat line where Kikuchi pitches 7 innings, right? Gives up 2 or 3 runs, strikes out 8 guys, right? I mean, and I'll take that at that price point. I mean, you look at the Rays over the last 30 days against left-handed pitching, 26% K rate almost, with just not a lot of power, a 113 ISO. What does Kikuchi struggle with? He struggles with fly balls and power to righties. He's going to see 6 righties here, but a team ISO of 113 over the last month against left-handed pitching, I'm not too worried about there. Yeah, if he can navigate Caminero and Yandy Diaz, I think he can be fine. The Rays can be pesky, right? They can steal bases, things like that. But the thing that I like about Kikuchi is he's not going to get the quick hook that some of these other guys are going to get. I mean, they let him throw. And obviously when your bullpen is as bad as the Angels, right, you give your guys like a Kikuchi, right, who can kind of pitch their way back into a game. And that's the reason for Kikuchi. So I think Kikuchi, I just don't play him with Glasnow, and I think you're different, right? That's different enough. Pivot at the top range and play Kikuchi. So I don't mind Kikuchi.
Well, what if you're just stacking a low team? Then you can eat it. It's a 9-game slate.
Right. Just don't play Coors Field, and you can do whatever you want. I mean, that's all you have to do. There's other teams on the slate, like the hottest, Brewers, one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. You still got the Mets. You got the Padres in the D-backs game. You got the Dodgers implied for 5 runs. You got Boston and KC game in Fenway, another decent park with good weather there. So there's a lot of things you can do. That's why I'm in on Kikuchi. Is the pitch leash is so big. I mean, you look at the pitches, it's Fried and Kikuchi are kind of light years ahead of really almost everyone else on the slate for the most part. So I'm in on Kikuchi. I don't really worry about that. I want a guy when I'm playing a guy down here that has strikeout ability, and Kikuchi does that. The Rays have been striking out a lot against left-handed pitching. So I'm in on him. I'll talk about, hold on, let me salary. Okay. Bello, I'm not really interested in him personally. I know people might. I think he's a decent pivot, but I like I don't want a huge pitching pool. So I think I like Kikuchi, Hauser, Manaya, Glasnow, Fried, and then the other guy I'll throw in there is Soroka. I'm a little indifferent on Soroka. The reason being is it's the shiny new toy for the Cubs. He's 7K, and that just allows you to do whatever you – I mean, there's some Blue Jays that are pushing 6K, right? Every team in the optimizer goes Glasnow, Soroka with 5 Blue Jays. I ran 150 teams and 99.99%, 149 out of 150 were Blue Jay stacks, with majority of them being Soroka and Glasnow. So he'd be the guy I'd be more willing to be worried about when you're playing Coors Field than a Kikuchi. So that's kind of my breakdown. I mean, Patrick Corbin's been good. I just don't really want to pick on the Yankees. There's other teams on the slate that we can pick on. And I mean, people are still going to play Corbin. So if people are going to play him, I'd rather just eat the little bit more ownership and play a guy like Kikuchi, who has more upside in my opinion. So for me, it's really those 6 guys that I'm looking at. I'm not too interested in Bello. Soroka is the one that I'm the least interested in overall. I get his K-props really good. I get that, but a lot of his advanced metrics on some of his pitches and velocity and things like that have been declining overall. So I'm a little bit worried there, and I just think it's just an easy click. He's $7,000. He's the cheapest pitcher that people want to use, and it allows you to pretty much get any bats you want. I mean, you can 5-stack Coors and then still have a decent amount of salary for your mini stacks. You can play some of the Mets guys. You can play some of the Brewers guys, right? You can play the Dodgers. You can play that D-backs game. So that's kind of the reason in there for Soroka. Kikuchi's my favorite below 8K. And then it's probably, I would say Soroka by default, but I just don't love it personally.
Yeah, makes sense. So a couple of things I want to add to wrap up pitching. So our pitcher ranking, something I always enjoy looking at. You can see it on the stone when we go through, but I'll give you 1 through 5 for Fried today. We got Max Fried 1. We liked him. Sean Manaea 2. We liked him. 2 pivots in the upper tier. Then we got Kikuchi 3, Soroka 4, Glasnow 5. I'm kind of in lockstep in that. And what that's telling me is up top, again, Glasnow's the chalk, Fried and Manaea lower owned. And then down below, Kikuchi, Soroka the chalk. Then we have the couple pivots there. It's a lot more comfortable to pivot off of Glasnow to one of Manaea Fried than it is off of Soroka Kikuchi to Corbin, Bello, Hauser. With all that being said, again, I think that's going to be the more popular take. If I'm playing Coors Field and stuff, I am more likely to pivot in the lower tier to get a little different, because I'm really not sure how much a Max Fried Kikuchi is going to get me different, or even a Manaea Kikuchi or whatever is going to get me as different as a Bello Glasnow, a Corbin Glasnow. So that's something I wanted to mention. Bello is by far my least favorite in this range. It's just at the end of the day, like, he's projected for 3%. Building a pitching pool like this is from now on where I let the power of Saberson do its thing. In, like, again, in Coors Field stacks, I should be seeing probably different pitching combinations or lower owned pitching combinations than if we're looking at stacking the Cubs and Cincy, which we're not. But I would not want to play a Bello Hauser with a 5-man Cub stack. Like, there's just no need to. You're already getting different at bats. Why do I have to get different at pitching? And I don't think SaberSim would give something like that. So building a pool, narrowing down a pool, and then letting the power of SaberSim, all the correlations, the simulations, hundreds of thousands of times, the ownership, the contest you're playing in, it takes all of that into consideration. And that's kind of what I would want to do. Narrow my pool. This looks good. How do I rank them? I do think Fried's my favorite. Kikuchi's number 2. Manaya 3. I do like Soroka a little more than you, but it's about the lineup telling a story at the end of the day. Then I mess with my min-max because I want to get somewhere like ballpark of what I want, but I still want the lineups to make sense, and that's where I let SaberSim do its thing. The last thing I want to say, Patrick Corbin. The Yankees strike out a decent bit. Yes, they got power, a solid run total, but it's not often. I bet most people would guess Corbin's K-prop is 5.5. Now, plenty juice on the under, but when's the last time you've really seen 5.5 K-prop for Patrick Corbin? Not very often. He is pitching at home as well, solid pitching park. That was the reason I'm including him down below. And again, Soroka, Kikuchi, he's a pivot right in the middle, and I do prefer him to Bello. So any final thoughts?
Yeah, I will say Globe Life Field has got the best park factor for pitching all season by far. It's not even close. The roof's going to be closed in there too. I mean, it's an 88 park factor when you look at the top range, like Coors Field is a 114. So it's right there in line with Seattle. And I mean, so that definitely helps. And not many people are going to click Corbin, and he's actually made some changes. He's added another pitch to his arsenal, which has helped him a lot. And yeah, I mean, the Yankees always, they're one of the most boom bust offense is in baseball. The thing for me is just the last 30 days, they haven't been striking out against lefties so much. I mean, they're sub 20%, but again, at sub 10% ownership for Patrick Corbin in Coors Field stacks, I mean, I'd be willing to play him over a Soroka and just hold hands with everyone else.
You still prefer Soroka over Fott, right? Like you didn't have Fott.
Yeah, I'm not playing Fott. He was one of the first X's I made. So
yeah, if it's someone that we had in our pool versus someone that wasn't, I would always lean someone that was in the pool.
Here, I'll give my pool again just for the people. The breakdown. It's Fried, Glasnow, Manaya. I'll go Kikuchi, Soroka, and then I'll add in Hauser as my kind of wild card. I think Hauser is a pretty good tournament option there.
I like it. Good stuff. All right, we're going to transition to bets. Appreciate all 260 hanging out, watching us live. People still loving MLB. Prizes are still massive. The sweat's fun. I love it. Again, we'd love to have you at SHIPIT Nation, weekly, monthly, 6 month options. The best right now is NFL or football package, I should say, because you don't only just get NFL, you also get college football. You get SaberSim, and then if you do sign up anytime before the NFL season, you also do get all access. So you get all MLB projections, ownership, hitter rankings, stack rankings, the stone, etc. In addition to a big mystery bonus on August 6th that is being teased in the Discord right now. Pensac, always good to see you. Lauer, if I had to add one more guy down low, I think it probably would have been. But man, I'm Team Coors today, so it's a no Lauer for me. All right, let's talk some bats, Nades. The first game of the slate again, 7:10 Eastern on both sites. Going based off the stone, that is the Mets and the Guardians starting it off. 8 total, minus 205 favorites are the Mets, big favorites. Looking at run totals in this one, obviously we liked Manaya. Guardians, one of the lowest on the slate. It's a no for me, for them. I mean, I stacked them yesterday. I got lucky to have Jose and a couple Brewers, but yeah, these Guardians aren't fun to click. The Mets, though, look at that ownership. No one above 6%. Hitter rankings, a couple grading out pretty well. Run totals, fine. Sessione, not great in the pitcher rankings, not terrible. But this is kind of where we're talking. The Mets, a very fine run total, good baseball team. It's just so much ownership gravitates to Coors. And the more games, like today, 9, you can play 5-man Mets with Soroka, Glasnow. Not crazy at all. So that's the stuff I'm doing. Whereas, like, if you're playing the Guardians, I would want to play chalk pitching. Mets, I don't think you have to get crazy at pitching. Then you go to a team like the Red Sox we'll talk to. Maybe that's where you start making pivots at pitching. stack in the bottom of the order, etc. So yeah, I like the Mets. I think you can play chalk pitching with the Mets. A little expensive, the guys you want, but I'm not worried about pricing on this slate. What about you?
Yeah, I like the Mets quite a bit, actually. Nobody's going to play them because they're expensive, and people would rather just play the Blue Jays at a similar price point or play the Padres at a similar price point. So for me, I think the Mets come in well behind a lot of other teams. I think Red Sox even are more popular than the Mets. And you look at Sassoni, he's got a sub 20% K rate between this year and last year, allows over a 200 ISO with a fly ball rate almost 33%. You look at the Mets, they have murdered right-handed pitching this year. A team ISO of 208, fly ball, almost their entire team hits the ball in the air. I mean, I love this stack in general. You look at the Cleveland bullpen, it's been decent, but they traded a bunch of their bullpen arms away at the deadline overall. And I mean, there's just crazy stuff happening in their locker room there with, I mean, betting on themselves and things like that. So I think the Mets are a really, really good play in general. I want the lefties first, but I mean, I like all of the power lefties and then the fly ball hitters. The two fly ball guys are Vientos and Alonso, mainly from the right side. I think Mauricio is one of the best plays on the slate. He's one of my favorite options. Nobody's going to click him at third base at 3,100 when they can play guys like Ernie Clement if he's in the lineup there for the Blue Jays. I love the Mets here tonight. And then, I'm not playing any Guardians in general here. Ballpark sucks here, but again, I think the Mets have upside on this slate at no ownership.
Yeah, it makes some sense. I like the Mets too. Not my top three. They don't fall into, but at ownership, I think they're very interesting.
I think the Mets are a really good secondary stack because I think secondary stacks a lot more are going to click Red Sox. I think a lot more are going to click Brewers. So for me, I think the Mets make a really, really good 2- and 3-man stack category. 5 stack, a little bit tougher for me just due to the ballpark when we have really good spots across the country to hit there. But I do think mini stacks are really good.
I like it. I probably lean more minis as well. But if I had 1 or 2 Met stacks, 5-mans at this ownership, I wouldn't say no. I was just going to bring this up. I just saw Cubs lineup, no PCA, also no Bush. So that is definitely a boost to Lodolo. Anything you want to add there? You already like Lodolo, but has to be a boost.
Yeah, it's definitely a boost for Lodolo there. And I mean, I think people might click him more, but there's so many other more popular pitchers that I think Lodolo anytime. I mean, it's hard to ignore anytime a pitcher can post 11 strikeouts in a much tougher matchup overall. So I think it's a pretty good click.
Yep. Yeah, definitely a boost for me right there. Good stuff, Derek. Appreciate that. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, Boston Red Sox and the Kansas City Royals. The second highest on the slate total. Yep, 9.5, which is the second highest. -164 favorites are the Red Sox. Red Sox, outside of Coors, pretending Coors is on the slate, my favorite stack. Bailey Falter misses 0 bats. Bailey Falter, not many ground balls. The ball will be in play. He doesn't walk many guys, but I don't want my teams to really walk in DFS. Those 2 points can be really annoying. You want upside for a lot more to win a tournament. Balls will be in play. Fly ball, good hitting weather for Boston. The lineup's cheap. I'm fine playing the lineup 1 through 9, like Hunter Wong at catcher and the 9 hole at 2K. Sure. Toro at 2,300 when everyone's spreading up for Vlad and etc. Flipping the build. I mean, I can go 1 through 9 with this team. Boston, my favorite stack outside of Coors Field on the slate. I'll let you talk Royals. I know I kept Bello in the pool. He was 2% owned, whatever. I don't think the Royals are a crazy stack either. I think you can game stack this, and our hitter rankings are telling us the same. So what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll start with the Red Sox. I'm in lockstep with you. Outside of the Blue Jays, the Red Sox are my favorites. And not just because Falter doesn't miss bats and he's terrible, but also, I mean, Red Sox have been a really good offense. It's a really good weather here tonight, a good hitting park, wind blowing out. Nothing crazy, but temperatures are in the 80s. We've seen this game be this park be in the 60s, right, for a lot of the season in the East Coast there. Wind blowing out towards that monster. And then you look at the KC bullpen, one of the worst bullpens in baseball over the last month, and they threw 5 bullpen arms yesterday, 5. So they're taxed, they're not good, and the Red Sox should just be able to feast. So I mean, there's a good chance that if Falter's out there, that he gets hung out to dry even a little bit longer than typically they would. KC's been literally picking up dudes off the street to try and pitch because they've dealt with tons of injuries there. So I love Boston. I think Boston is my favorite tournament stack in general, just at the ownership. They're going to get played, but they're going to be much lower owned than what Coors Field. I mean, probably a third. A lot of the Coors guys are probably going to be 30 to 40% in even higher in single entry small field stuff. So I think Red Sox really good there. I always love stacking against a team with a bad bullpen in a good ballpark, especially when they threw 5 arms yesterday on Sunday there. So on the Royals side of things, I think they're interesting. Not one of my top stacks in general, but you can always stack against Bello. Lefties are where you want to target. He gets wild at times and will walk some guys, mainly from the left side of things. And then Salvi and Bobby Witt have been 2 of the better hitters in baseball, especially over the last 30 days. Salvi has a 484 ISO against right-handed pitching. This entire team has a 17% K rate against right-handed pitching over the last month. So they've been hitting good. I like Salvi, John Rave, Bobby Witt, Vinny P, Garcia, India are kind of the main guys in there. If you want to add in Yastrzemski and Isbell Frazier, some of those lefties, you can definitely do it. Much prefer the Red Sox side of things, but don't hate the KC side either.
Shout out to Yaz. I mean, first at bat as a Royal, takes it deep. That's got to be one awesome feeling for him.
How about Lamane Wade? I mean, like one of his first at bats for the Angels hit a home run and then got released.
I saw that. It's like, we don't want to win. What are we doing?
Tough sledding out here.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, it's mainly Royals minis for me, like a Bobby Witt, Vinny P. Yes, it's expensive, but again, if I'm going Kikuchi, Soroka, 5-man Boston, and I went Vinny and Bobby, like that's something I can clearly make work. And there's all the upside in the world for Bobby, as we know, at shortstop. People are going to gravitate to the Tovars of the world, the Bobachettes. So yeah, I think Bobby, Vinny P, interesting one-offs. You mentioned Rave too. Yaz is a lefty, Salvi at catcher. Mainly mini stacks on that side. I really like Boston though. 5-man, it's any which way you please. All right, that's all I got in that one. Yep, for a lot of great prices in that game for sure. Makes a lot work on both sides. Let's keep it rolling. Nades and my Brewers taking on the Atlanta Braves. Again, this is the only weather game, orange-yellow. Be on the lookout for any Roth updates. We have 8.5 total, minus 149 favorites. Are the Brewers? The Brewers kind of fall into that the Mets categories. I prefer mini stacks over the full 5-man. I'm not sure there's enough pop in this one to like a 5-man. Can they get me 6 homers? I don't know. On a 9-game slate where I'm expecting some crooked numbers to be put up, I'm not sure the Brewers are going to win me a 5-man. You can tell me if I'm wrong. However, guys like Vaughn absolutely seeing the baseball. Contreras power at their catcher position. Yelich is seeing the ball well. You keep going down. These guys all have stolen base upside the lower you go, etc. I'm very indifferent to the Brewers. I think they win. They're playing great baseball. But are they going to be on the winner in a 5-man? I don't really see it. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, what I will say, though, is, they might not hit 7 home runs like some of these other teams could on the slate, but I will say is Fetty Wap allows a ton of stolen bases. The Brewers will run. I mean, he's got 33 stolen bases allowed over the last 2 seasons. One of the better stolen base per inning pitch metrics on the slate to target against. He's up there with guys like Sandy Alcantara, Patrick Corbin, who we know allow a ton of stolen bases. He's right in line with those. So Terang, Yelich, Frelick, Perkins, Ortiz, Contreras will even run. Collins, Lockridge will run. New addition there. So I will say with that added bonus and the second worst pitcher on the slate behind some of the guys we already talked about, I think the Brewers do have added upside there. I prefer more as a mini stack as well. However, I do say they're right there with the Mets, like you alluded to. 2 really good 5-man stacks at the ownership in a chalkier pitcher route. And again, I mean, we've seen Coors Field bust. It's hard for me to envision it bust tonight. However, we have seen it bust. And if you do that, I mean, that's your quickest way to the top of the leaderboards is a team like the Brewers or the Mets, who do have upside, especially on the base pass there. So I will say that for the Brewers. Prefer much more as mini stacks, though. I'm right there. Andrew Vaughn's my favorite guy, and then Yelich, and then the stolen base guys is where I would look at in particular. No Braves interest for me. Priester, I didn't really want to play 8,900 for Priester. He's been really good. Brewers have the third best bullpen in baseball over the last 2 months as well. So it takes me firmly out of play on the Braves, and that the offense sucks in general. So I'm out on them.
I like it. All right, let me just refresh. He said no. Again, I'm just looking at Kevin Roth on Roto Grinders. He has orange yellow, so there is weather concern in that Brewers Braves. Where's the Lodolo ranked after seeing the Cubs lineup? So right now, number 9. We're about to get to that game, but we don't have the confirmed Cubs lineup in yet, so that could change. Everything is updated, constantly updated, the rankings, etc. When seeing weather, seeing the lineups they're going against, all of that. So it could go up a little bit. Again, PCA is in the lineup. We're going to that Cubs-Reds game. I'll read off the Cubs lineup real quick. Horner, Tucker, Suzuki, Kelly, Willie Castro, Old Man, Justin Turner, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson, and Matt Shaw. Crazy to see Justin Turner still getting the job done, but it's the Cubs and the Reds on one of the lowest totals of the slate at 7. It is the lowest total on the slate. 7, -138 favorites are the Cubs. Soroka, going to be one of the chalkiest on the slate. Grades out well in the pitcher rankings. Again, no PCA, no Bush. Big downgrades for the Cubs. Lodolo, we had interest in as well. I'm not playing either of these teams. I don't want a 5-man. If I got a one-off or something because of SaberSim and chalkier lineups, so be it. I would not hand build anyone in this game in terms of bats. What about you?
Yeah, it would just be Cubs minis for me. Temperatures in the low 70s, 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in one of the most wind affected ballparks in baseball. But again, some of the better guys that I'd want to play are not even in that lineup there. So still think it's okay with some minis on Cubs one-offs or two-man stacks. But outside of that, I'm just not interested in this game in general. I get the reasoning for Soroka chalk. I just much rather just not click Soroka than play the Cincinnati hitters. If you were to pick one or two, Ellie, Stevenson, Fraley, 3 of those guys over the last month have been pretty good against right-handed pitching. Add in Spencer Steer if you look at the whole season. Austin Hayes, but I just don't think you need to go here.
I agree. I don't think you take the direct leverage off of Soroka. I'd much rather just not play Soroka. Like Soroka can score 13, so go 5 innings, 3 Ks, like light up 2 runs or something. The Reds didn't get there, but Soroka definitely didn't get there. I prefer that route on this 9-gamer much better than stacking the Reds. Frelick down the projected lineup. Frelick, let's see. The one I'm looking at, we do not have Frelick in the projected lineup. We should get that before lock. So this one, we have Frelick projected number 1. What I'm looking at somewhere else, Frelick's not in. We should get this Brewers lineup, though, 7:15 Eastern. Pretty much any minute, I assume, we'll get it. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. All right, we'll keep it rolling. Plenty of games still to talk about. Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees going from one of the lowest total, or the lowest total, to the second lowest total at 7.5. -145 favorites are the Yankees. I'm having Patrick Corbin in the pool. I'm having Max Fried in the pool. I'm definitely not playing the Rangers. I don't think playing some of these Yankees bats are crazy against Corbin. I mean, shout out Trent Grisham. Absolutely turned around his career, got himself some cheese, gave him a lot more years in the big leagues as an everyday player. Shout out to him. Don't love him today, lefty, but I mean, these hitter rankings aren't bad up top. The ownership is like the Mets. The pricing's fine, but again, with Kikuchi, with Soroka, with guys down low that are still projecting better than guys up top, I wouldn't worry about it. It just, man, the ballpark stinks. The bottom of the order is fun to stack for the Yankees, though. Like getting Ryan McMahon and stuff, like it is easy to 1 through 9 them and flip over that order. Probably still more minis for me. Again, I'm playing some Corbin. Corbin's been respectable. You talked about his new pitch that he's been throwing, and mainly the ballpark just stinks, but any ballpark, the Yankees can still have 5-6 homers on any day.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't love it. Rangers bullpen's kind of middle of the road. I will say Rangers threw a bullpen game on Saturday and used 6 arms. One of their guys is battling injury as well with a back injury there, so I'm assuming he's going to be unavailable. 2 of their guys went yesterday. So, I mean, you look at the last 3 days for their bullpen, 49, 38, 37, 30, 22, 17 pitches. So they are pretty taxed. They are decent kind of league average. They're sitting around 16th over the last month there. So that is a little added bonus there. Stacking against Corbin just has not worked this year. I will say the stolen base guys are the main guys I look at grabbing, and those guys for those are, 1 second, let me filter here. Caballero, obviously, if he makes the lineup, he's going to run every time he's on base. Jazz, Volpe, Dominguez, if he's in their belly. Those are kind of the main guys you're looking at there. So mini stacks are solid. You can always power hunt, especially against Corbin, but as a stack, I'd probably much prefer the Brewers as a 5-man. I prefer the Mets as a 5-man. So more mini stacks for me, more of the stolen base guys. I think Jazz and Volpe is a pretty nice 2-man stack there. And then Slater smashes left-handed pitching as well.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Like when you were talking to stolen base guys, I was highlighting Jazz, Volpe, second base position, 1Z, shortstop for Volpe, 1Z position. I don't hate it to make some other things work. Like we're going to get to this Coors Field game down here. Tovar, Bo Bichette are going to be a million times higher owned than Volpe. And Volpe's actually 100 cheaper than Tovar. Like that's a direct pivot that not many are going to do that way. You're talking Jazz at second base. Yeah, not too many second basemen. I mean, Ernie Clement, he's cheap. He'll get some for the Blue Jays. Not so much on the other side with the Rockies. But you can see this ownership is super, super low. Hitter rankings are fine. Corbin's been so good. So good for his standards and his expectations coming into 2025, limiting some hard contacts. So I'm more Rangers. I'm more Corbin over Yankees, and that's just a mini stack more so the Yankees. I agree. I like Mets. I like Brewers more if I had to choose 5-man stacks. So they go and fall down the list for me. What's going on, Kenny? Good to see you. Hey, it still might be good. Again, keep monitoring it, but orange yellow for now. You might be able to get away with it. Ownership will be low regardless. All right, Nate's 4 games left. Coors Field time, the game everyone is interested in. You get a big total for the Blue Jays and the Rockies, both above 5. We are looking at a 12 total, minus 218 favorites. Are the Blue Jays? I'll just throw it right to you. If you're playing the Blue Jays, how are you playing them? If you're playing the Rockies, I don't think you have to really worry about it too much. Ownership is telling us that as well. The Rockies versus the Red Sox will be higher owned. Let's see, 73% the total ownership when we added 47. If you're playing the Rockies, treat them like they're not even in Coors Field. They're a team that you can play some chalk with, etc. And I do have some interest in low own side at Coors when the run total is above 5. I think Rockies are really interesting. Blue Jays, I think we have enough low owned pitchers and the slate's big enough where you can play the Blue Jays and make things work. I'll let you talk about it though. I would not go Kikuchi, Soroka, and 5-man Blue Jays. I think that's probably the biggest mistake.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if you just don't play Glasnow and Soroka, I mean, you can do pretty much whatever you want, realistically, for the most part, because everybody's going to have Glasnow, Soroka, and 5 Blue Jays. I mean, that's what projections say. You can throw Kikuchi in that mix, but I really think it's Soroka and Glasnow is the really combination, because you get the highest K prop on the slate, and then you get a guy that has a 1 strikeout less for, $7,000, the cheapest pitcher that people want to play. That's the reason there. So just don't play those guys, and you're different there. Toronto, not much more to say. I mean, Tanner Gordon's not good. 15% K rate, 251 ISO allowed to both sides of the plate. Allows almost a 40% fly ball rate to lefties. I mean, Varsho, Barger, Loperfido, Nathan Lukes. I mean, those are the main guys. I want the lefties. So I'm lower on guys like Vlad and Bichette and Kirk, who I think are going to be 3 of the more popular Blue Jays from what I'm seeing. Obviously, Loperfido is going to be owned just because he's 3,400. He's the cheapest guy in the lineup there. But Kirk's going to be super chalky to onesie position at 3,500. Bichette, again, onesie position. Vlad. So for me, I like the lefties mainly first against the Blue Jays, but it's hard to argue any of these guys. Rockies bullpen, league worst by far. I mean, they have a 5 let me see, a 5.14 xFIP over the last month, which is by far the worst. It's not even close. The Pirates just scored, 675 runs this weekend, and the Pirates offense sucks. You look at the Blue Jays, they are the league best over against right-handed pitching. League best in right-handed pitching. Them and the Brewers are way above the rest of the league against righties over the last month there. So not much more to say there. Blue Jays, just don't play them with Glasnow and Soroka are the main two guys I'd be under on when I'm playing Blue Jays. On the Rockies side, I don't love the Rockies. They are going to be lower owned. I'd still rather play the Blue Jays. I'd still rather play the Brewers. I'd still rather play the Mets. Blue Jays got a good bullpen behind Lauer. If you're picking guys off against Lauer, you want fly ball guys, fly ball power righties. He does have a good strikeout rate against righties, so ideally you want guys, righties that just don't strike out a lot. Bernabel, I think, the young shortstop there, he's interesting to me there. Actually, you got to play him at first base here on DraftKings. Think he's interesting. He's one of my favorite guys from the Rocky side if I were to pick. And then Brenton Doyle, another fly ball power guy that just doesn't strike out a ton. Guys like Goodman, Beck, they have a lot of power, but they also strike out a lot. And when you got a good strikeout arm against righties, I'm looking at more guys that are going to put the ball in play and at least give me a chance there. So that's kind of the guys I'm looking at there. And then obviously Tovar at shortstop, but I'd much rather play the pivot there that we talked about, Anthony Volpe, who can get there with his legs and facing Patrick Corbin than play a chalky Tovar against a good bullpen behind him. But that's kind of my breakdown there.
Great breakdown. The first thing that stands out, 9 righties the Rockies are throwing out against Eric Lauer, which I do like to see. I'm good with the Rockies. Like you mentioned, the Goodman concern, the strikeouts. He's probably one of my favorite players in baseball now. I think he's super underrated. I guess. He's 5,700 on DraftKings. I guess that's just to the average MLB fan. But man, that dude's got pop. He's a good hitter. I can play this team 1 through 6. I think I'm very fine playing this team. I'm fine 5-manning them as well. Good hitting weather, big total. Everyone going to the other side. Prices are in check.
I will say the last 30 days against lefties, they're 17% K rate against lefties over the last month. So it's a battle of the two. You look at Lauer over the last month, 31% K rate to righties, Rockies 17% K rate against lefties. So it's a battle of two goods. So but over that stretch, 254 ISO against left-handed pitching. I want home runs when I'm stacking an offense. So that's definitely a case for the Rockies, and their ownership is going to be low.
Nate, you want to – I don't know if I read it the first time and struggled to understand. Maybe you will.
You really love stretching out. Do you ever worry? Yeah, Darren, I don't know what you're asking. Kikuchi's gone. What? 100?
Maybe just retype. We were probably misreading it, or so just retype it. Maybe we can comprehend it a little better. It's just a Kikuchi joke. So it went right over our head. It sounds
right over our head. Sorry, we're I'm analyzing
I still have no clue what the joke was.
Yeah, all right. Went right over my head. So
it's a sex joke. Oh my gosh. That's all I had to hear was
I got 75 different tabs up. I'm looking at metrics numbers.
Well, I'm like, what? Like if he goes out in the 7th inning, he's gonna get beat up or something. All right. That was good, Darren. And right over both our heads. I appreciate Derek and Kenny coming in to help. He made us laugh. That was good. All right. I got nothing left in that game. I'm flustered. Let's throw it to the next game. Talking about Kikuchi, the man himself, the Angels and the Rays. We have an 8.5 total, -126 favorites. Are the Angels? For me, I'm looking at these hitter rankings. I'm looking at Kikuchi being the 3rd highest owned pitcher on the slate, 1 through 5. You can tell me if you like any of the guys below. Yes, probably more mini stacks for me, but I am interested in some mini stacks, power hunting mainly in the middle when I am not playing Kikuchi teams. Angel side, like Hauser's getting no ownership. I prefer Rays to Angels just because of the leverage I'm getting, but I don't like either side very much in this spot. You tell me. People are loving it or hating it. It's both. Tell me what you're doing in this.
The Rays, Yandy and Caminero, DeLuca. if DeLuca's in there, I mean, really Caminero and Yandy is a mini stack. I mean, they're probably going to hit 1-4 or 1-3 something. I mean, they're going to be pretty close together anyways in that lineup. Just power hunting against Kikuchi. I will say the Angels bullpen is not good. Behind him on the other side of the thing, the Rays bullpen is good. Hauser's been decent. Yeah, he doesn't strike out a lot of guys, but he just doesn't allow a ton of power in general. If you want to pick out guys, you want the lefties. The only issue is the Angels just don't have a bunch of lefties, I will say. Overall, I don't love the spot. The lefties for me on the Angels side, if Campero's in there at 2,300, that dude's hit a couple home runs recently, 2,300. I think he's a really good play. Moncada, if you want to get different at a third base position, where guys like Addison Barger are going to be way more popular. You save a little bit of salary there. So it's really Campero is my favorite guy from the Angels side, Yandy and Caminero from the Rays. But I don't love it personally. I'd rather play the Rays as a leverage, but I just don't think it's a spot. I don't think Kikuchi is going to be up there with guys like that we already talked about, Soroka and Glass now. So I'm more.
What do you think it's going to be if you had to put ownership to all three of those guys? Because it sounds like I think it's going to be a closer gap than you think. So what do you think? Glass now, Soroka, Kikuchi.
So I'm just looking at like high stakes single entry stuff right now, and it's 55-60% Soroka and 40 to 45% Glass now. And then it drops off to mid-20s for Fried and Kikuchi. So that's what I'm basing it off of. Usually Sabres pretty good with their high-stakes stuff. And obviously the high-stakes guys are pretty sharp, and I leverage that the most. I trust the high-stakes ownership pretty good overall. MME is going to be a different game, right? When you're talking the $5 massive contest with 47,000 people, everything comes down and everything spreads out a little bit more. In smaller field single-entry stuff, it's going to be Glass on Soroka far and away, just because, I mean, projections drive and optimizers. And when you run a dry run and get 149 out of 150 Blue Jay stacks, and then you look at what the pitcher combination is, and they're both over, 55% of the teams, that's kind of going to drive it there. So that's why I think Fried and Kikuchi are a drop off. And that's why I'm not too worried about his ownership when you got a $7,000 Soroka. If Soroka was more closely in price, I think it'd make a little bit more of a difference. But the Reds have a lower implied run total as well than what the Rays do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Weather in Anaheim, 80 degrees, wind blowing out a little bit. Very, very nice. I didn't mention Coors Field weather, but almost 90 degrees, like 10 mile an hour plus winds blowing out, which is another reason that total's so big. Good hitting weather in Anaheim though. It really comes down to just the nature of the slate. Only one pitcher has a 6.5 K prop with juice on the over or better. So Soroka, Kikuchi come in 3-4 in terms of K props, while they're both below 8K on a slate that people want to spend up for Vladdy at 6.5, Bichette at 5.7, Barger 5.8, etc. So that's kind of why we're getting the ownership on these guys that we are. Just mispricing to go along with the nature of the slate.
I think this is the warmest Coors Field game we've had all season. 9 p.m., it's still going to be 95 degrees with 10-plus mile-an-hour winds the entire duration of the game blowing out. So I came on here Friday and slandered Pittsburgh, and they turned into the best team in all of baseball in 3 games. So I'm a huge weather and ballpark guy, and usually Coors Field is like 70 degrees and not 95 degrees. So, yeah.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. Man, people were having me dying. People that I've never seen their usernames in YouTube chat even made their appearance on that. So shout out to Darren. I know not everyone loved it. Darren got people laughing. He got me laughing. Went right over both of our heads. I like it, Darren. Thumbs up for our man, Darren. Subscribe helps us out a ton. He didn't say another word. I've never seen him. Other people too, but that was good. We never would have got it too. If it wasn't for YouTube chat, I promise you, Nades and I, we would have moved on, never thought about it after, and it would have been completely out of our mind. So that was good. What did I want? One more comment. Yeah, I was right above Darren's. That's why I missed it. Sneak peek to Wednesday's announcement. The best I can, if you're a SHIPIT Nation member in the Discord, go to the announcement segment. Tambo was on one just about an hour ago maybe even a little more. Messages are rolling in. Video even came out. The banner. Go to the Ship It Nation portion of Discord. All I can say is what this graphic shows us. So it's an NFL only with college football. So football, you get NFL, you get college football, you get SaberSim, the best optimizer around, as you can see below, DFS Mastermind course. But number 4, mystery bonus August 6th. The only thing I can say, if you want any more hints, the Discord at Ship It Nation, Tambo drops some. But that $349, by far the best deal out there. Again, college football, NFL with an optimizer, but you have a chance. Some people will be paying, they won't be paying anything. They'll pay the $349 and they will have a lot more cheese coming in their pocket in return. That's the biggest hint I can say. But if you are in the Discord,
there's a teaser video on the Twitter too. I dropped.
On Twitter. There you go.
Yeah. I dropped the link. They dropped it on our Ship It Nation Twitter there. So I mean, go watch it. You can try and draw conclusions, but nothing else like it ever in the industry. And I know a lot of people say that this is true. I mean, it's going to be crazy. That's all we can say. More to come on that, but watch the teaser. It's like 45 seconds and you can start drawing some conclusions there.
Yeah, this was so good. I threw it to him. I told him to read it and try. So I set him up for that, but I had no clue what I was setting him up for. That is really funny. My lanes. I'm going to go back and rewatch that a little bit. All right. 2 games left on the slates. Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Diego Padres. Big total in this one, sitting at 9, which is the 3rd biggest on the slate. We have Padres at -132 favorites. I think this could be a sneaky game, Stagnades. I'll let you take it away, but Padres, when I'm looking at their hitter rankings, with their pricing, with their ownership, with guaranteed 9th inning at bats, I mean, everything checks out. Everything checks out. D-back side, hitter rankings 1 through 5 are at least fine. Yes, the prices are up there a little bit with the D-backs, but Soroka, Kikuchi, you can play Kettle Marte, Corbin Carroll pretty easily. Mainly mini stacks on the D-back side, 1 through 5. However, I will say the bottom of the order is all free. Like Blaze at short or 2nd or 3rd, fine, whatever it may be. Herrera is a stone punt catcher. This Padres team, though, getting Rhino Hearn in the lineup, Laureano, this bottom of the order looks a lot better. You can flip this thing over. Man, just the additions alone makes this team way more appealing for me. And not playing at Petco Park, the guaranteed 9th inning at bats, I'm in on these Padres.
Yeah, I like the Padres as well. And you add in the Arizona bullpen, one of the worst bullpens in baseball over the last month in terms of xFIP. And many teams were off yesterday. The D-backs were not. They threw 4 bullpen arms yesterday, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Friday, 42, 29, 27, 27, 26, 20 is what their breakdown is in terms of the pitches over the last 3 days. Pretty taxed. You got a good offense now with a much stronger lineup. I like this team a lot here. Brandon Pfaadt, you really want lefties mainly against him. So Jackson Merrill, Arias, O'Hearn, Cronenworth is where I want to start. And then Laureano's been murdering baseball as Manny Machado. Tatis, we know what they can do. Xander's actually been pretty good for as shitty as he is. He just doesn't strike out. He's actually been pretty decent. The guy I wouldn't play is Diaz. I just hate Diaz. I think he sucks. But the other 8 guys I firmly want. They're going to be low owned, bad bullpen, full 9 inning at bats, decent place to hit in general. So I'm in on the Padres. I put them a little ahead of the Mets, but the Mets and the Brewers are all pretty similar in my kind of my rankings. All very similar owned. They're going to be much lower owned than teams like Boston, teams like Toronto, obviously. So I do think they're really good stacks there. On the Arizona side, JP Sears, fly ball guy. You mainly want the fly ball guys in general for the D-backs. Barossa, if he's in there, is free. He hits the ball in the air in his limited sample. Gurriel, Marte, Corbin Carroll, even lefty. I don't care about that. I think he's fine. Locklear is free. He had a home run over the weekend. I think he's a good play. The D-backs are just free. The only issue is that Padres bullpen is really good. So I prefer more mini stacks on the D-back side. Full stack, much more on the Padres side of things.
I like it. We got 1 game left on the slate. I did want to mention, thanks, Emin Hala. Roth did just upgrade orange yellow to yellow. I said maybe late start, but for now he thinks it should play after. At least I think I read that. Just Roto Grinders, MLB Weather is where you can find Ross. Otherwise, just him. I think it's Kevin Roth on Twitter. Shout out to Roth. Weather is very important in MLB. Upgraded to yellow is big time there. All right, last game of the slate. Los Angeles Dodgers, St. Louis Cardinals. Tyler Glasnow, Sonny Gray on the mound. We are looking at an 8 total, minus 192 favorites are the Dodgers. I'm not playing the Cardinals. I think that's really easy. It's more so the Dodgers side. Man, this is a really interesting spot. Sonny Gray's never someone that I love to attack, but he's had his down games, and when they're down, they are really down. Now he gets a very good lineup in the Dodgers. The Dodgers are completely unowned on this slate while having a run total above 5. How's the Cardinals bullpen? That's one of my main questions for you. And then
they're best in baseball over the last month. 347 xFIP, 10 points better than Miami, Milwaukee. They've been,
that lowers it a little bit then. Sonny's not a bum, but if they get a go bullpen behind, it's a little concerning. But you can say this: one of the best teams in baseball at this type of ownership with this run total can always be an easy overweight click. So I don't hate that either. I'm curious to hear what side you're going to be on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Dodgers. I still think I like the Padres, the Mets, those kind of teams, and I can't play everybody on the slate. So Dodgers aren't going to make the cut, especially with the bullpen there. I just don't love it. And Sonny Gray's not a bum. I get it. People are saying, but his estimators underlying metrics, he's been super, super unlucky. His estimators are some of the best in all of baseball there. So there is some positive regression to come Sonny Gray's way. So that's enough to take me kind of off the Dodgers there. If I were to pick a side, it'd be some of these lefties for the Cardinals: Nootbaar, Burleson, Contreras. Reason being is Glasnow has struggled recently with some walks to lefties. So if that's the case, you get direct leverage off the most popular guy. And you look at the Cardinals over the last 30 days, they're actually been patient at the plate. Guys like Stott, Burleson, they have double-digit walk rates there. So if I were to pick a side, it'd be that side, but I don't like this game for hitting in general.
I agree. I don't love the Dodgers. To wrap it up, I prefer the Padres. I prefer the Rockies. I prefer the Blue Jays. That's an easy one, though. I prefer the Brewers and the Red Sox. Red Sox, Padres are my favorite 2 stacks outside of Coors Field if I have to choose. And then for pitching, we limited to 9, and you didn't even like Bello. That could be 8. You didn't love Corbin. That could be 7. I think we did a good job narrowing the pitching pool a good amount. I think we did a good job narrowing the 5-man stacks that we like enough. And if you're playing 20 teams or less, and you just say Saber, uncheck every 5-man stack except the 5 or 6 teams you like, and only have those 9 pitchers in your player pool when you build the 20 teams, I think that's a very good start. You yourself narrowed it down, or even if you disagreed, you took out, you liked the pitcher that you liked Eric Lauer and you didn't like Bello. You can make your own changes and stuff, but after you narrow it down enough and you have that say, then I think just letting the power of SaberSim do its thing, find the combinations, the roster constructions for which tournament makes sense, etc. A qualifier, a winner take all, you have to play that a lot different than a cash game, than a GPP that pays out 20% that's very flat up top. Even a GPP that's 20%, that's 30% to first place, whereas another one that's 10% to first place, and I'm talking the prize pool, you have to play that night and day. 30%, almost all the money's at first, whereas a lot more flat one, it's not just first place. SaberSim takes all of that stuff into account with the size, the payout structure, all of that. Shout out to SaberSim. It is the best optimizer around. We absolutely love to be with them. They're helped us out a ton, include a lot, the prices you see here with SaberSim, us allowing to give all of our NFL, college football, a mystery bonus, all that, and SaberSim for this low of a price. Shout out to SaberSim. Has helped us out a ton. The best optimizer around. I've enjoyed using it for many of years, and they keep improving and adding on. As you see, the portfolio diversifier, absolute money if you have not checked that out. We'd love to have you at Chip Nation, weekly, monthly, 6-month annuals. We just have content. We do have optimizers, bonuses as well. We just have projections, plenty of different options you can choose. Again, shipination.com. Join the nation right here, and you can see all of our packages. Nades, final thoughts before we get on out of here.
No, I think it's pretty clear cut. It's Soroka, Glasnow, and 5 Blue Jays is the chalk. I mean, you play 5 Blue Jays, just pivot off of those 2 pitchers in general. I like Kikuchi a lot. I talked about that. I think Minaya and Fried are really, really good at the top tier. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty fun slate. The Brewers, I like the Brewers a lot more now that the weather got upgraded there, and I talked about the stolen base upside that the Brewers have, and I talk about stolen bases all the time. It's not it's slept on too much, I think, in DFS, and especially with teams like the Brewers and the Rays, who lead all of baseball, up there with the Cubs, far amongst the rest of the pack in terms of stolen bases.
You're welcome, Willie B. You're welcome. Maybe next show I'll get back to the Appreciate that, my lanes. Contest selection is absolutely critical indeed. That'll do it for us. Hour 10, talking 9 games on DraftKings and FanDuel. Nades already has the MLB slate plan up. MLB slate plan. Definitely check that out. Core report on there as well. Get in the Discord, the best Discord around. We'd love to see you. That'll do it for us. For Big Nades. I'm Titletown. We'll be back tomorrow. Good luck. Stay safe. Peace.